the big question is this: how do pastors like us who remain focused on the mission of Jesus and serving our communities without being distracted by everything in the world around us, how do we increase our effectiveness while living a lifestyle that doesn't compromise our health, our families, or our personal relationships with Jesus? That's the question this podcast is going to answer. I'm Dr. Brandon Party Cooper, and welcome to the Ministry Hackers Podcast. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Ministry Hackers Podcast. Are you trying to brainstorm how to do ministry in new and effective ways? Well, today, what I want to do is I want to give you a simple tool that you can use and your team to come up with new and fresh ideas for your church, your specific ministry, really just about anything that you are trying to do right now. This tool is going to revolutionize how you come up with new, fresh ideas, even innovative ideas on how to do ministry. And so we'll get to that in a minute. But before I do, I want to share just a little bit of exciting news for me. I want to share with all of you. So this afternoon, I received a notification word from the Author Elite Awards that I am a finalist, a top 10 finalist in their awards this year for my book, Millennial Leadership, which was completely unexpected, but very exciting for me, and exciting just to be nominated back in April. And then now to find out that I'm a finalist, I'm very excited about that. And so I just thought I'd share that with everybody today. So the Author Elite Awards will be held at the end of October. And so over the next couple of months, you'll be hearing more about that, more about what the awards are and how that, how my book, Millennial Leadership, fits into that, and how you can even be involved in the whole process. But I wanted to take a moment and just thank all of you. Many of you purchased the book, you read the book, gave me great feedback. Some of you helped me process through it in the creation and writing process. Others of you contributed to the book knowingly, and some of you unknowingly. But I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for every little bit that everybody did to make the book possible, as well as all of you who purchased it to help me be considered for this award. And so I'm excited. I'll be letting you know more about that as we get into it. And so just thought I would share that with you and put it out there for you guys to be aware of. Again, you'll be hearing more about that as we go. So I just want to share a quick tool for everybody as you are trying to brainstorm. All of us are in very new times, especially as we're coming into the fall and we're dealing with COVID and restrictions, and we're just trying to figure out ways to do ministry. And some of us, like myself, are not very creative. I am not a creative individual. I don't have all these great creative ideas. I actually rely on other people a lot of times to help me come up with great ideas, and then I put the legs under it. Well, this is one tool that I learned years and years and years ago, and I've used over and over again. It was actually from another member in the Ministry Hackers group here, David Rumley, Dr. David D. Rumley. Him and I worked together at Central Assembly in Springfield, Missouri, way back in the day. And he introduced this to me, and I've used it over and over and over again. And it's simply a great brainstorming tool for you and your team, just to kind of come up with, really, if you have a blank page of, hey, we need to tackle this problem, or we need to figure out how to do this differently, or we need to whatever, you can go through this step-by-step process and just figure out great ideas and ways to do things. And honestly, when you go through this, when you use this tool and you go through it, you actually end up with a ton of new ideas that you then have to worry about how to implement all of them, which is a great problem to have. So first of all you'll need is your team. You'll need a problem to solve. You'll need some Post-its, and then or some 3x5 note cards, and some pens, pencils, something to write with. You can also use a whiteboard with Post-its. You can, there's a couple other ways, but I would say either use Post-its on a board or a wall, or use the 3x5 note cards, and you can just throw them in a pile. And so basically what you do is you throw out the idea, or you throw out the problem to everybody involved. Everybody has a stack of note cards or Post-its. We'll say Post-its just for clarity as we're going through. So everybody has a stack of Post-its, and they have their writing utensil. You set the creative level at 10, which means any crazy idea goes. Anything that they can possibly think of. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about time. Don't worry about any of the limiting factors that come into play. Just what's the idea? So level 10 of creativity, you give, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you decide, a short enough period of time where um, people can have too many ideas, where they may have enough ideas, but you get to the 3 minute mark and they're like, oh, I still want to. That's a good place to be, rather than a 5 minute. Sometimes people are just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for the time to run out. So a 3 minute probably would be a good start. Um, and so you present the idea. And so let's say our problem is um, how to get more newcomers to fill out the newcomer card on a Sunday morning. That's the problem. So you throw that problem out there, and you set the timer and you say go. And so everybody in the room has their post-its and have their pens, pencils, and they're writing and writing and writing every time. And they write one idea per post-it. Write it down and put it on the wall, or put it on the table or the desk next to them. Write it down, set it. And then when the time is up, then you take all of those ideas and put them up on a wall for everybody to see, and you just go through them, and you kind of talk them through. So uh, you know you look at the idea and you say, okay, this is a great idea, but we can't do it right now. Or this is a great idea and we don't have the budget for that. This is a great idea, but it's not practical. Whatever the case is. This is a great idea, but it's going to cost us $1 million to do it, so we can't do that. Whatever the reason is. So you start eliminating all the ideas that are just not within the realm of possibility for where you are at the moment. And so once you do, then you have what's left over. And usually at that point, you can group them together. You can kind of group them in similar ideas or similar thoughts, or in similar areas, depending on what the problem is you're tackling. And then you focus on a group. And so you decide, okay, this group, we're going to focus on this group, and then you start another round. So let's say in our scenario of getting everybody to fill out the guest cards on a Sunday morning. Well, let's say that we narrow our focus a little bit down to how do we replace the cards. Nobody likes the cards, takes too long to fill out. And so what are we going to do? What other options do we have besides the cards? And so that's the next round. And everybody then has their Post-its, has their pens or pencils, and you set a new timer. Maybe it's 3 minutes again, maybe it's 2 or 1. You start to lower the number of minutes, and you say go, and everybody tackles that problem. And so you just do the same process, the same steps over and over and over again. You start to narrow down the creativity though. So at this second round, you would maybe lower the creativity to a 7. So you're not going outside of the idea of creating new ideas for the cards, but you're wanting any idea that is related to that inside this round. And so in each round, you narrow the creativity down, you narrow the focus of the problem, and eventually you come to a point where you have a solution. Usually it's 2 or 3 solutions. Hopefully you've narrowed it down to that, 2 or 3 feasible solutions. And either you make a decision to go after one of those solutions, or you decide we're going to try out all of these 2 or 3 solutions and see which one is either comes together the fastest, which one is more effective, whatever. And so the idea is that, sometimes as ministry leaders and pastors, we sit down at our desk and we say, here's this problem. How are we going to fix it? And we, again, especially for people like me who are not really creative, I can kind of struggle with coming up with a creative idea to fix the problem, or a creative idea to, build this new ministry or launch this new initiative or whatever. In my own head, there's not enough creativity a lot of times. And so what this will do is it will create a structure that I don't just have to come up with one idea. I can follow this process and come up with many ideas, because the creativity level is high, but the challenge is not as big. I'm not coming with this huge answer to a problem right now. I'm coming with all these possible solutions, and I'm narrowing it down to arrive at a solution for the problem. The other thing that it does, and this is one thing that I would say, even if you are creative, why you should use it is because it brings the team together. It allows everybody to have voice and input, allows everybody to consider the options, and it also allows everybody to be a part of the conversation. So, sometimes as leaders, we can come in and say, okay, here's the problem and here's the solution that I have for it. Well, not everybody understands how we arrive at that solution. And there are times when it's okay and it's probably better to allow other people to come with us in the process, so that when we present the solution, it's not in a vacuum with just us. It's a collective collaboration of ideas and thoughts and attitudes and concerns, and all of those things come out, so that then when the problem and the solution are presented, there is a whole bunch of backing as to why the solution was arrived. You have a whole group of people, your whole team or whatever it is, saying, yeah, we went through all these and these are the best solutions that we could find. And it just creates a higher degree of buy-in. It creates a deeper sense of belonging and unification as the team. And again, it usually comes up with better solutions than one of us can do on our own. And so that's just a quick tool for you to use. I would say use it often. Again, we're coming up in the fall. A lot of things that we did last fall, we can't do the same way or do at all this fall. And so all of us are trying to figure out, how do we continue to navigate through our ministries and churches in this new reality that we're living in? Well, this tool, hopefully, if you use it and put it in place and implement it, um, hopefully that will cut down the time it takes to come up with quality solutions. And it'll also increase your just the camaraderie on your team and the buy-in and the excitement. And everybody's getting a little worn down by the struggle of the pandemic and the restrictions and regulations. It's starting to wear some of us down. This will breathe new life and new excitement and new energy into your team and into your church and your ministry. And so I would just say utilize it as often as possible, and use it to just come up with whatever great ideas. You will surprise yourself. Even some of us who are not great creative minds, you will surprise yourself with what you come up with when you use a tool like this. All right. So I hope that helps. I hope it's helpful for you. Hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to the next episode. See you guys.